Sattva the Mustang, a horse-human relationship journey. So I have gone back through our footage from day one, and specifically the very first little section of day one. And I want to share it with you. But as I went through, I took some notes on things that, as I look back, I realize are really important. I find that when I'm in the space with the horses, it's such a horse-led experience that it's difficult to say, what is the first step or the second step. And I really think that the first step and the second step and the third step is always really just the present moment. What is in that space that is asking to be done. But it was interesting when I went back through the footage because I really could see that, there is a clear kind of consistent thread in this. And I would say that one of those threads is observation. Now, I don't just mean observation of the horse. It's an observing of her as she is observing me. So it's observing her feelings about me. When do I get to the edge of that bubble? When do I get to a point that if I was to come any closer, it would not be comfortable for her? Just really paying attention to how she feels about my presence. There's some wild horses that, they are so hyper aware of the human's presence before you even get in the pen with them that it might be best to start communicating out there, right, with the fence in between you. So it's just before we really dive into any kind of actual me guiding her to do this or learning this or that, I really want to pay attention to how she feels about me. So that's a big piece. Observing her as she observes me. So that's one thing. Another piece is woven into that. It's kind of like the one just blends into the next. But that is this way of saying yes, okay? And not just saying yes to anything, but saying yes to the moments that she is saying no, right? And that, I want to begin with that. I want that to be part of our language before we even have built our language. Like, I want that to be one of our very first letters. So how to say yes to her saying no. And the way that I'm going to say yes is simply a pause. It may be a physical step back away from her. It may be just pausing in that moment, but it is in some way taking a bit of whatever pressure was in the space and removing it, right? So that's how she's feeling that yes. And that could even be just the pressure of my intention. I'm not just speaking about like putting pressure on, like if I was to try to move Sandy's, and push her like this, so this is pressure, now I'm taking the pressure off. I'm not just speaking of it in that way. Pressure exists in so many ways. It's also just the pressure of my thoughts, my intentions, my presence. There's pressure in me looking straight ahead at the horse versus me turning. So all sorts of ways to say yes through lifting that pressure in some way. But that's a big piece, is her beginning to recognize my saying yes. And specifically to those places where she says no, which also ties into the observation piece because I'm paying attention to where she says no. So as I am approaching her closer and closer and I get to this spot where she starts to maybe just barely rock back, right, with her center of mass just shifts back just a little bit as I'm approaching, that is a way of her saying no, and I can say yes to that no by simply taking a step back myself. And the incredible thing that happens when we do this at any time in our relationship with horses, certainly in these very fragile, powerful beginning stages with wild horses, is it is an I see you moment, right? Because she's feeling a certain way. When she goes to step back, she is feeling some level of confusion, fear, uncertainty, about me. So she's feeling this emotion, and I'm able to say, I see you. I feel that you're feeling that, right? And there's nothing more powerful to any other being than operating in this space where we're communicating by saying, I see you. So observing her, observing me, and two, saying yes to the horse's no is another piece. Third piece is a little bit embarrassing, but if you know me, you know that I have to include those pieces too, because it's just part of the whole show, right? Like whatever this thing is that we're doing here, sharing, I have to be real about it, and I have to share with you the places that I would have edited out. And there's definitely a part I would have edited it out where, because this is the first day with her, and I'm talking and I'm starting to make some assumptions, because as you'll see in the footage, she looks so quiet, so calm, and not calm in a guarded, she's her eyes are blinking, her ears are softly moving. She is extremely relaxed for a brand new wild Mustang with a human in the space with her. And I make some assumptions, and I actually start to talk about this term that some people use called a cheater Mustang, which, okay, just the word just sounds icky, but she thought it was icky. You'll see in the video, she totally thought it was icky, and does not apply to her, she says. But I didn't know that at that point. And it's basically just referring to a wild horse that's going to be really easy to gentle, and some of them are so easy. Some of them are just like old teddy bear, like right from the beginning, and just want to be your best friend forever. And then some of them, just make you work for every little aspect of the relationship. And anyway, my point being that it was very premature for me to make that kind of assumption about her. And I include it in here because I want this to be an honest reflection of what this relationship journey looks like with this new wild horse. And there's no cookie cutter format. There's no this step and then this step and then this step. And there's not even, I just don't know her yet. I don't know her. It's a brand new relationship. I am a baby in this relationship. And so I am going to have moments where I start to think I know her, and maybe in that moment I do, maybe I don't, but regardless, everything changes with time. And this footage that you're about to see in this present moment, as I have just reviewed it and am sharing with you, it's already been over a week ago, and we are at a totally different place now in our relationship. And it's a bit of a challenge to go back and share what it was really like then. But then was a invaluable moment and part of what we now are now. And what I feel a dedication to in creating this whole series and sharing it with you is sharing the true, real process as it unfolded. So I am not editing out the embarrassing moments. There you go. So I look forward to reliving this next little bit of time with you.
So these are my intentions: to observe her observing me, as in, how does she feel about me? To say yes to her no, as a way to say, I see you. And to share what I was thinking in that present moment, even if I now feel and think something different as I learn more about her and our relationship grows over time. Okay, what you can't see is me, but I want you to look at her. So I am just now entering the round pen from the opposite side. It's about 80 feet away, and she's watching me, but obviously very quietly, but she's definitely watching me. I mean, you could see her shift from, you could see her focus move towards across the pen, and now you see her a little more. You saw that ear flick. There's just a little more of a direct look coming from her. It's so subtle. She is so subtle, but she's still blinking. But see how right there when she moved her head, it was kind of a little bit of a sharp movement. You know, she's needing to watch me as I come in. Not to the point that she's afraid enough to need to leave or move her body. She's just watching me intently at this point. So this tells me it's okay for me to be in the space with her, but she certainly is very aware of me. Right here, I had just stopped, and when I stopped, she decided that she was going to come over here and explore the camera. And now she's stopping to look at me. I'm just off camera here. And I love how soft her body is. See that ear kind of turn towards me there? Oh, there's just so much. Okay, now I'm going to shift to the original audio from this actual day with her.
So I feel like what I'm doing here is it's kind of two things. One, it's an observation of her, observation of how comfortable is she with me. And it is a way of saying yes for the very first time in our unique relationship. This place where the horse and human meet is totally different than anything else that's really created in nature with the horse. If she chooses to step towards, I'm going to give her space to do that. I'm going to allow that. I'm not at all asking her for this, but she wanted to step in, and I'm just creating space for her to do so. You are amazing. You are amazing. Yeah. You are. Yeah. Now, this is as close as I feel. I feel that if I step towards her right now, even though she's very soft and relaxed, it doesn't feel right to do that. Another thing to note is she's very confident, but we have very limited communication right now. And I actually would not want to have a first touch until we have more language between us. If you think about what it looks like when two mares meet each other in the wild and their noses touch and they arc their necks and very often they strike and eke at each other, it's totally okay for them because they're both comparable sizes and they can handle that kind of thing. If I get a strike, I'm not going to do as well with that physically, right? That could do me in. So it's important that before we actually have first touches that we've created more communication so that if that moment starts to arise, I can redirect it. And I think that's actually one of the things that is it's just as important with these Mustangs, like this amazing soul that are really confident. And some people, I don't love this term because it's they call them cheater Mustangs. I'll just say it just because it's a term people use, but it basically points to a Mustang that is really easy to gentle, and you don't really have to do the work. And we actually, we're a sanctuary here, and one of our Notice I'm creating space for that. Okay, I'm going to shift to what's happening right now. So see how she needed to step away? That's totally fine. I'm going to give her the space to do that, and because she stepped away, I'm going to give her more space, okay? I don't think she liked me talking about cheater Mustangs.
I need to pause here for a moment to really speak to that third point about being honest about this process. In this moment, everything I said felt true, but as we progress, as you'll see in future videos, things shift and new things feel true. One thing being, Sattva is no cheater Mustang. Another thing being, I'll slip up at times and misread the present moment, and I fully intend to include those moments too. So that's what I mean by not editing out the parts I might have wanted to. For example, this clip that you'll learn more about later in the series. Okay, enough of that for now. Let's get back to the present moment of today.
Girl. So I actually feel like now, okay, notice right there, see that rock where she rocked back? You could see her center of mass kind of shift back towards her hips. So I want to rock back when she does that. I want to show her that I see that moment, that she was a little uncertain. And the way I say I see you is I just step back. It's that slight taking the pressure off. So I'm just going to ease forward again. And the moment we're right there, I'm going to take one step back. I'm not going to go way back because I this time, but I just take that one little step back. So nice. I love that she's comfortable enough with me here that she can look out at the guardian dogs racing off to the horizon.
A few things I want to point out for you and for me. This observing stage never ends. This is two-way relationship. Paying attention to the other person's feelings never stops being important. Same with horses. Saying yes to her no is a way of saying I see you and more. This conversation will open the door to her no becoming a yes as our relationship grows. And I do not know her yet. Relationship takes